Linda Cook, I'll never forget. She said, Kathy, don't you remember meeting me? She said, about a year or so ago, I come in here in your store. I said, I do remember that. She said, well, when I met you that day, because I told her, I said, I need to pay you for your stuff. She said, I need to clarify something with you. She said, that day I come in and I watched you as you walked around with people, and you loved on people and they loved on you. And she said, you stopped and you talked to me about the Lord. And I asked you, why do you do this? And you said the Lord had taught you not to waste the pain, to share it with others. She said, Kathy, you didn't know the pain I was going through at that time. I had no desire to live. I had 2 bottles of pills hidden in a filing cabinet and I was going to kill myself. She said, but that day when I left, I had a reason to live. She said, you saved my life. And there is no amount of money I could ever pay you back for you talking with me and telling me your story. And I had to realize there was other people like me that was hurting. Okay, this is catfish nuggets. Everybody's got to have some. Black-eyed peas and corn macaroni salad, fried cornbread, you can't miss it. And he got chicken and dumplings over there. Oh my goodness.
And I got the catfish nuggets, deviled eggs, and slaw. And I don't think I'm going to eat all.
Well, you got some you can take it home with you. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. It looks wonderful.
Hey y'all, welcome to part 2 of the video here. We're in Walnut Cove, North Carolina, Just Plain Country Store, and I'm Kathy. Make sure you check out part 1. I said that'll be showing up, but now let's come and check out the basement. We got more down here. Get me turned around. Now we're in the basement. All right, we're down here in my basement. Now this old store, you really see the age of it when you're down here. The old brick and old walls and the floors all original. But I got 55 more booths down here. These here are old gas pumps. I've got a gentleman, I love him to death, old Carlisle. He won't like it. I'm gonna tell him he's about 80. And he does these. He restores them and brings them in. I had a lady come in. This has been probably about 3 years ago. She walked through the door. She had been over in a High Point at the furniture market. Somebody had told her she was looking for gas pumps. Her business up there, they sold cars and they had a big showcase. She walked in. She said, I'm here to buy. I said, you are? She said, yeah, get your ink pen and pad ready. I said, all right, what you buying? She said, all these gas pumps. And she began to point at all the ones I had upstairs, all the ones I had down here. Honey, she bought every one that day. I couldn't believe it. And of course, he done her a deal because she bought them all. We got all them gas pumps. She came back the next week with a big tractor trailer, loaded them up, and took them to Wisconsin. She was all the way from Wisconsin. So we've had a lot of people from different states that come in and support us, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful. But we're going now. You want to go back here and go meet some of my primitive collectors, and I love primitive. Primitive is something that's very old, back in the 1800s. Some of it's a little bit more. You want to start over here, Jim, and you booth this one? This is Jim Edmund, him and his wife Jane. They have been, how long y'all been here with me?
2015.
Wow. So they've been here a good little while, and they have got the coolest booths. Come on in here and talk about your stuff. I love it, and he'll show you his other booth he's got too. This one's got a little bit of everything, ain't you?
Hi, I'm Jim. Glad to be on the channel today. I've been with Kathy, as I said, since 2015, and we've really enjoyed our association with Kathy. We have a little bit of everything. We started pretty much with little toys when we first started. And just a quick definition of both a vintage and an antique item. To me, an antique's over 100 years old, 19, 23 or older. Yeah. And vintage is, well, Kathy and I are both vintage, I believe, aren't we, Kathy?
Yeah, from the 50s.
So 50 years to 100 years old. Yeah. And Jane and I primarily have been collecting and selling vintage and antique items, with a few exceptions. We have comic books that are newer items here, and a lot of people like comics. Mm-hmm. And our postcards, a lot of the postcards are actually antique items. Some of them are early 1900s on
Yeah.
there. So to me, a postcard is very early social media before Facebook. And back when long distance calls cost a lot of money, people would go somewhere to visit and all their friends or family would want to know how they're doing. So they would actually go on to send them a postcard just to say, hey, I'm doing good at 67 degrees, because the weatherman didn't tell them what it was all across the country back then. They only knew what it was doing in their own backyard. So we enjoyed postcards. A lot of customers come in looking for postcards. If they're from Texas, they'll be looking specifically for postcards, old ones from Texas or something like that. But
Where are you picking this stuff from? Where are you getting it at?
oh gosh, estate sales from
Estate
all
sales.
over the southeast and up into Virginia and Pennsylvania, Ohio area. On a lot of the items, especially the furniture and a lot of the primitives. So the word primitive to me is something that's not mass produced. We have a boot jack right here. Actually, just use it like this right here. We'll demonstrate it. Pull your shoe right off. So
I
if you
need
have a
that.
boot that's tough to use, that's how you do it. Now, it wouldn't do any good if you face it the other way, so actually you've got to have that little bit of elevation on the boot jack. This particular one, the reason I called it primitive is you can see it was just fashioned out of a piece of split wood, probably, where a couple of branches split off and they just carved it to their needs. A lot of tobacco pluggers here, that type of item. Well, if you had toast on a fire back in the day, let me find the one here that's actually singed. You can tell that one was used. They just bent a piece of wood and formed it to where they had little tongs back then. So pretty much your make-do type items. Tobacco sticks back here, good for craft items or good for putting up tomato vines. Unless you use Miracle Grow, you'd have to slash 2 or 3 of those together if you had Miracle Grow on your
Yeah.
vines. So anyhow, we just have all types of items, a lot of kitchen items, graters. We have game boards up here, actually carved out of a piece of wood. Blacksmith, I love blacksmith.
You call it a what type
items.
board?
Game, like birds,
Uh-huh.
fowl,
And it was
F-O-W-L.
It's for, what was it used for?
Just hanging birds on the wall till you're ready to cook them.
Really?
For about a
How about that?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have that. This right here, this one, when they made this and somebody just came up with the idea, I guess, that's actually, I guess they just used some kind of item just to burn in a tobacco bag and pipe some to that. The one we cannot figure out is this game board over here.
I
With,
think it was used for hogs.
all the decorations, but we don't have any idea what those paintings represent. on
Oh
that one.
yeah.
So you're
wild.
You can tell it's a game by what they've been out hunting and
Little
killed birds or
Yeah,
chickens
that's
or
our
whatever.
only one we have represented right here, the little eagle hanging on.
Yeah.
So we don't have any actual birds hanging on.
Wow. I learned something.
Now my wife loves Barbie stuff. So we have old vintage Barbie dresses and outfits right there. We love the old Barbie stuff, or she does, and she plays piano. So these are types of things we love. Grandkids put puzzles together and the kids put puzzles together. So, we just like selling things we have. So.
I know. He's got this booth and he's got a couple of more. This bunch here does some carvings of the bears and stuff. They're not in here right now, but they bring their stuff and set it up. He's one of the ones that had that big bear on the back porch I sold. It's been
That was a
amazing.
big bear.
Yes, it was.
Before I was
You
moving,
remember
I
it.
helped. And
Yeah.
we of course sell some sign as well. So we have some advertising pieces, mostly thermometers or old pop signs.
Let's see your booth over here. I love it. Now this one here's got new stuff, but she does a lot of the Halloween, Christmas type stuff. She's got both of these. A lot of people collect them little people. They love them. You just don't never know what you get in this old store. A little bit of everything. And now this is, it's one of my favorites because I love old-timey stuff.
And because it's nice and cool.
Oh,
in
it is.
there.
It feels
it's the air
wonderful.
conditioner for the downstairs.
Yeah,
That's another
I love it.
Everybody stops in here. If they're not looking
Yeah.
at their stuff, they're cooling off.
And he knows I collect Crocs and stuff. I got old toolboxes and All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, a little food mold right there, actually.
Yeah.
Pudding mold, something like that.
Put your Jello or something in it.
Form it up. I guess you'd fill it up that way and then put the lid on it.
He's even got a few butter molds, I think, around here. I got an elderly lady. She's 80-some years old. She makes me butter, hot, fresh butter, and puts them in them butter molds and makes a mold with it.
Oh, yeah.
And everything. I love it.
So, one of our other passions is quilts, as Kathy's passion is as well.
I love them.
So we have blanket chests for quilts in here, and let me get out of the way. This one's kind of grain painted. That one came out of Ohio, and this other one came out of Pennsylvania, from around Conestoga, Pennsylvania. So just all kinds of interesting different items. Don't ask me how we got into paintings, oil paintings, but we have that in here as well, just to add to the looks. One thing about primitives, lots of times they would use what they had on hand. As we've already seen from the other booth. One item here, they just got some metal, fashioned that out of something there and made like a little candle wall sconce just out of what they had on hand. This is interesting because right here, I'll take that away. That was actually a cough drop box. You can see right here on this side from Poughkeepsie, New York, I believe.
And what's in that? Tell them what them are.
Oh, okay, so we have some adjustable candlesticks. Now, this one here has lost its little original, so somebody just screwed into the sheet metal, just a little screw to adjust it up and down.
And back in the day, Daddy used to tell them, said if it gets down to a certain point, you better get in here. Don't be outside any longer. Yeah, and that's it. That was a hog scraper.
They wouldn't use this one, but it originally has kind of what they call the hog scraper base on it. That just scrapes the hair and the bristle off the hog.
My uncle used to give me fat back. He'd kill his hogs, and it always had the top layer of skin and hair. I said, I can't use that. He said, burn it off. You can use it. I was like, oh, I wish he was still around doing that, you know.
It's not a paddle, but it's a spatula that's blacksmith-made. Got quite a bit of use on it, but I love anything blacksmith, so it kind of gets us to right here in this corner. I brought in a couple of things from my personal collection at home. This is kind of a Sawtooth Trammel. And you see right here, it's got kind of a rat tail right here. This catches the teeth on a saw. So what you would do is hang that on the fireplace, and if you want your pot down close to the coals, you would have it fully extended out to get the pot closer to the coal. And if you want it further away from the coal, you would just bring it so it's not as long, and that would hang further up. But that's made by a blacksmith.
I love that. You're learning stuff today.
And the other thing, after you get through the pot, well, you need to pull the pot off the fire. So here you go. Instead of grabbing that hot handle, you would grab some coal tongs like this right here with the little rat tails on. Pull on your pot handle and just pull it off. So that's kind of a little blacksmith-made stuff.
He's got some unique things. I love unique things in my house. I like things that's got a story behind it. Well, I wanted you to meet Jim down here because I love this booth. I truly do. We got more people we're going to meet now. Hey y'all, it's Kathy again. We're in the basement down here at my store at Just Plain Country. Good friend Dovey come by to see me, and I had to get her in on this video. One of the sweetest ladies. You know, the Lord gives you some great friendships in these stores. Over the years, I become good friends with them, and she's such a sweetheart. She's been through a lot, lost her husband this past year, and he's up there in heaven waiting on us. Yes, he is. So, you know what? That's one thing about this store. We can encourage one another wherever we go. You can be in a store or out in public, whatever. Be an encouragement to somebody today. I love it. You come and see me, girl.
Oh, I will.
All right, her daughter's waiting on her, so we're going to show you around a little bit more down here. You ready to walk around a little more?
Let's look right here since we're right here. I like these cameras here.
I know. Bye, darling. See y'all.
Nice meeting you, ladies.
Okay, you too.
This is another one of my booths. I love the old barn wood in here. They had framed it out. They had got a collection going on of the old cameras and stuff. I can kind of remember having one of them. I think I had one like that little brownie right there. I thought I'd be a photographer one day, but no. See, you can bring and put stuff. I have a certain criteria about certain things that come in the store. I try to be family oriented. We don't put beer signs and stuff like that in here. But, you know, just kind of, we want kids to be able to come in here and enjoy it too. And mama to walk through and not have to worry about what they might see. I know, old shoe shine kit, people don't remember them too much.
You don't see that much.
Yeah, but she's got several booths here. I've got 155 vendors in this store, and 55 of them's down here. So it amazes you what all we can find. I got a back porch out on the back. Step out here for a minute. Debbie's over there. Little Debbie, I told her, I said, call and get her up here. She fed my girls today for lunch. This here's on the back porch. I love stuff like this. It's 30% off out here. You never know what you're going to find. A lot of my vendors, they just kind of bring the stuff they can't seem to sell and put it out here. But it's got some good things, old crates, and you know, I'm looking right now, see the barrels over there. I like that kind of stuff myself. We get old windows. I got old man brings me windows. Bless his heart. I love him to death. So it feels like storms blowing up. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a little wind
like
coming in.
A little bit. It is. That might cool us down. But come on in this way. Hey y'all, how you doing, honey? Y'all doing pretty good?
If I got this down here, I pay for it down here.
Either way, you can pay upstairs or down
okay.
here. It all goes together.
All right.
Good to see y'all, honey. Good to see you. This here is another booth here, and down here I wanted you to see. This is a father-daughter business. They build stuff, and he's right now he goes around and sets up at shows and things like this. Usually this booth is packed out, but they have had a lot sell out of here that sell a lot of furniture. And
Did they make
people,
these signs like this, or where they get them?
They buy them. They've got a wholesaler that they
Okay.
usually can buy some of that stuff from.
Okay.
Now some of the wooden signs they make themselves.
Right. Okay.
But you know, a lot of this kind of stuff, they get things and restore it, which is a good thing. But you never know what you're gonna find in this old place. I took this old door right there. This come out of the bank up there in Germantown, and I bought it just because it come out of the bank. Oh, just a little history around here. This fella does, and I got a lot of guys that collect this stuff, so that's something else for the fellers if you like that kind of, you know, putting old model cars together. Got old license plates. Hey girls, these are some of my favorite customers right there. Yes, they are.
Yes, we love it.
Thank you. Hey, honey. And this lady right here, she makes the bird feeders, makes the lamps and stuff. They're the ones that does a lot of the wood carving of the bears and things, which I think is pretty cool. Come on up this way. There goes Alan. We work him to death. Like I say, little antiques and little different things that you might even have laying around your house. You can kind of sell. It's amazing what you'd find in a place like this. We've got Christmas already coming out. Everybody says Christmas. I said, I know, it won't be long. I tell you, it's not time flying. Who would have ever thought it would have went this fast? I look back on life. I've met so many different people in this business, and a few years ago, I met a lady that I was getting ready to go through something, and I had no idea I was getting ready to go through my cancer. But it was in 2013. My husband had divorced me. I was getting ready to have insurance. I didn't have no insurance, and they had sent me a bill saying, you want insurance, you got to pay $2,000. And I mean, it's hard sometimes to come up with that kind of money. And I thought, Lord, if you want me to pay and get this insurance, you'll have to make a way. Well, that very day was on a Friday, and a lady called me and she said, ma'am, I got some things I want you to look at. I said, well, I'm not buying nothing today. She said, well, you better step outside on the side dock. They had pulled up, and it was a 20-foot U-Haul truck. Husband got out and he lifted the tailgate, and you talking about prettiest stuff you ever seen. Barbershop chair, dry sink, buffets, things every time an antique dealer would love. And I thought, Lord, I wanted it bad, but I knew I couldn't afford it. And I said, sir, I can't afford it right now. He said, well, I don't know about you, but she said it's staying here. So him and the three guys that was with him there were three of them, began to unload it. He unloaded it. They was in my aisle, and I was like, where's she at? And she pulled up in the truck, and she said, Kathy, just sell it. Just sell it. And I said, well, how much do you want? She said, we'll talk about that later. She said, just sell it. And I thought, Lord, I needed money right then. And I said, Lord, if this is your way to help me to make the money for my insurance, let me sell $2,000 worth of her stuff tomorrow. And that was on a Saturday. We opened up that morning, and a gentleman walked in. Hadn't seen him in years. He bought $2,100 worth of her stuff in 1 hour. God said, pay your insurance. So I went ahead, I paid insurance. The next week, the lady comes again with another load of furniture. I was like, I don't know where we're going to put all this stuff, and I was trying to put it out. I didn't even know this lady's last name, didn't have her phone number. She unloaded, her and her husband and the boys, and after that, they left again. I didn't have her name or number. I said, Lord, I don't know how to call her and ask her what I owe or anything. Well, we ended up, my girls called me one day, and they said, you better come up here. It was in April. She said, that lady's here. I said, uh-oh, she's going to want money. So I walked up, and I said, ma'am, we got to talk. And her name was Linda Cook. I'll never forget. She said, Kathy, don't you remember meeting me? She said, about a year or so ago, I come in here in your store. I said, I do remember that. She said, well, when I met you that day, because I told her, I said, I need to pay you for your stuff. She said, I need to clarify something with you. She said, that day I come in and I watched you as you walked around with people, and you loved on people and they loved on you. And she said, you stopped and you talked to me about the Lord. And I asked you, why do you do this? And you said the Lord had taught you not to waste the pain, to share it with others. She said, Kathy, you didn't know the pain I was going through at that time. I had no desire to live. I had 2 bottles of pills hidden in a filing cabinet, and I was going to kill myself. She said, but that day when I left, I had a reason to live. She said, you saved my life, and there is no amount of money I could ever pay you back for you talking with me and telling me your story. And I had to realize there was other people like me that was hurting. She said, thank you for saving my life. I said, Linda, it wasn't me, it was the Lord. He used me. She said, I'm just thankful that you was here that day. Well, I went in the bathroom, I was crying. And as I was crying, I said, Lord, I can't understand why this happened. And the Lord said, you ain't gone through nothing in vain. Trust me. When we learn to trust Him, no matter what we're going through, He's got a plan. Because the next month I was diagnosed with breast cancer. They took both breasts. I could have died during that time. God allowed me to have insurance. He blessed me. He looked after me. He seen where I was going. I didn't see that far ahead, but He did. Ain't we glad that the Lord can tell what's getting ready to happen in our life? We don't have to worry. He knows. Right now I'm getting ready to go through some more issues. I don't know what's going to happen, but He knows. I trust Him. I had to tell you that story. That story blessed my heart. See, the people you meet in this old place, you just don't know. And, we need to be a witness. We need to love on people. People need love now. People don't get that no more. They need it. And I want to love on them, so y'all get down here. Come on up this way. I want to show them a few more little things. I know he's busy looking at this one here. They build stuff. They just bring all kinds of antiques and stuff. This lady, her husband passed away during the pandemic too. And like I say, we was able to help her to keep on going. We help her bring stuff in all the time. These old doors, I put them up as walls. But this old part down here, it's an older part. Got a room for kids, all them toys in there. But it's just amazing, some of the stuff down here. I was telling him earlier, my store is built up. It had the hardware. They had furniture in the back, and down here they done undertaking. This store was built in 1916. From 1916 probably till the early 30s, they done undertaking. I told everybody, I said they sold coffins and embalmed people and took them home back then. Back in the older days, they used to take you home and they set up with the dead. Them was the days. But now, now was just, everybody says, is it haunted? I said, no, it ain't haunted. I said, Lord's in this store. And I don't never worry. God's looked after me all this time and everything. So I just want, I tell you what, we have been so blessed to have this channel come in and see us down here. I tell you, got anything else you want to say today about this old place?
Well, I think it's wonderful. I just, the store's great, but you're awesome. You're just an inspiration to everybody. And I was looking. We got to go and you bought us lunch today, and I really appreciate you doing that.
I appreciate y'all. I mean, doing this has been a blessing. It has. God's been good. When you slow a little bit, we got to work together, and that helps us too. And my customers have been the best. I couldn't do without them, and that's for sure. But I do thank y'all so much for spending time with me down here in this old building. 107 years old. If you want to come down and just enjoy a little bit, look at these old walls and stuff. I tell everybody, I said, when you come in this place, it's got upstairs and down. And you don't want to miss down here. People a lot of time walk by that door and they don't realize there's something down here. And we have to let them know we got a lot going on in this old place. A lot of good eating places. Hopefully tomorrow, you said you might get to come back and do some things around here. We'll show you around again. Little town of Walnut Cove. It's worth coming. I love y'all. Bye, honey.
Thanks.
Thank you, Miss Kathy. This is such a beautiful sign.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna hang it in the camper, and because we like to explore the beauty of
And
life.
you'll remember me. I love it.
I'll always remember Miss Kathy for doing this. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, honey. You're fine.